It is Wednesday, July 15, 2020. The time is 5 p.m. or 5:01. 5:01. We are meeting via Zoom. The meeting is broadcast live on Channel 99 via Comcast or live stream link to watch or listen to Nashua ETV. Sorry. So I'd like to take a roll call. So Miss Odoms?
Yes, I'm here.
Here. Miss Gilio?
I'm here.
And I'm here. So we have a quorum for the HR committee meeting. Also in attendance is Miss Raymond.
Yes, here. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Mosley.
Here.
Miss O'Gara.
Here.
Who else is here? Miss Kinsella.
Here.
And I think,
Mr.
and is that Dr. Parker or Mr. Parker?
Mr. Parker.
Okay, and Mr. Parker. Hello, Mr. Parker. How are you doing today?
I'm lovely. Thank you. Good to be here. How are you?
Okay, fine. We all received a revised copy of the personnel recommendation dated July 15, 2020. You all got that, right? There's 9 additional items on that, but at first we want to do the administrative recommendations. And Mr. Parker, that would be you. You've been selected for Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education for the 2021 school year. Can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. Well, I'm Anthony. Hello, everybody. If I've never met you before, and those I have, it's nice to see you again. I spent the last 14 years as principal of Weston High School in Weston, Massachusetts. And before that, I spent 13 years in Newton Public Schools at both high schools, Newton South as a history teacher and Newton North. And I was also the union vice president, Newton Teachers Association. And so I've sort of done it all. I am married for 28 years and 3 adult children, boys, 31, 26, and 23. And they're all out of the house. And it's awesome.
So you're an empty nester.
And
You are an empty nester.
And before my career in education, I was a journalist. I was a magazine and radio reporter. And education wasn't even on the radar. And all I ever wanted to do was to be a journalist. And I was. And but I did my student teaching and I never looked back. And I love what I do. And I am thrilled to be coming to Nashua. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. And so that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. The board may want to ask you a few questions. So Anybody have any questions, please speak now.
Can I?
Sure, Ms. Zing.
Could you tell me, I'm not familiar with mass schools, and I didn't get the opportunity to meet you, but it's nice to meet you. We're glad to be talking to you and look forward to working with you. But can you tell me how big the schools were were they bigger than our school?
No, Weston had 5 schools. 5 schools, and I know in this position I would be responsible for 5 schools. 5 or 6, the 2 high schools and the middle schools. But Weston had 5 schools. And the high school it's shrinking a little bit. So when I left, it was about 700. It's about 700 kids at the high school. All right. The district itself, maybe 2,000 altogether.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, 1 high school, 1 middle school, a 4-5 school, and then pre-K through 3 schools. Okay. And but Weston was something I felt I needed to experience. And quite frankly, to look like me, to be principal of Weston High School, that was a challenge, and I wanted to do that. And we had a great run. And it was good. It was lovely, and we did a lot of things for kids. So yeah.
You sound like a journalist. You articulate beautifully. It's Well, you really do. That's
Well, thank you.
Yes, that's a gift.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? Ms. Odoms?
Yes, well, I was on the interview team, but one of the questions from the interview team I think would be interesting for the rest of you was why Nashua? What appealed to you about Nashua?
Good question. Number one, it was something different from Newton and Weston, which say what I was looking for. Number two, from everything that I could see, and I know some people who work in Nashua, and they spoke with high regard and what you want to do for kids. And, at the end of the day, you want to do good things for kids, and you're willing to think differently and creatively, if presented with a good idea, that can move kids in the district forward. So in a nutshell, and I, as I said, I know a couple of people who work there that I've worked with in Newton and went to school with, and they spoke highly, people I respect, and they spoke highly of their experience in Nashua. And when I visited, I got a good feeling. I liked talking to the people that I met there, and their appreciation for kids and for grooming teacher leaders. And so that was it. That's what I appreciated. And that's why Nashua.
Okay,
Okay.
and
I hope that was clear.
nice. Yes, you were. You were. It's good for the other board members to hear.
Mhm.
I also think it would be good for them to know what a challenge Weston can be. It might be small, but it is the highest per capita city, I believe, in Massachusetts.
It is.
The
That is
average
correct.
salary is for people is $200,000 a year. Yes.
Yeah, that might be on the low side if you're a
Really?
resident in Weston. Yeah, that might be on the low side.
Okay.
And that's why I said I had to experience it, and they were interested in me. I wanted that experience, and but the thing that I learned, and the thing that I came to when I hired teachers, and I meant it. They're kids. They are no more responsible for their circumstances than any other kid in any other district. They didn't have a say. And because it's easy to dismiss Weston, right? What problems do you have? Whatever. And you know what? I wasn't having any of it. They're kids, and they didn't have a say, and their parents want the best for them. And we did some incredible things together that I am, well, if you can't tell, I am immensely proud of what we did together for kids. And so we built a solid foundation there.
Hey, Ms. Gilio, do you have a question?
Excuse me.
No, I'm just, I'm welcoming you on the eve of, we don't know what school reopening is going to look like. So you certainly come to new challenges at a very challenging time, but we're happy to have you.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate that.
Before I get to you, Ms. Johnson, I'd like to ask a question myself. And at your last job, what was the most challenging aspect of that job, and how diverse was that district?
Well, Weston, number one, Weston is more diverse than it's given credit for. That's number one. Not as diverse as Nashua. And that was something I was looking for, quite frankly. And I think that's a fair thing to say, And number two, the most challenging thing was, in many respects, helping parents be the parent and the kids be the kids, and when things would happen with son or daughter, working with the parents to say, you know what, it's okay to actually, you know, be the parent and say no. You know, this is in your best interest, and so that was challenging. That was something that was constant. Yeah, I'd have to say it was dealing with helping parents parent their kids. When it came to programming, when it came to finances, if you made the case, Weston was there. So I have to say that if you made the case how this is good for kids and how this will move the district forward, they were there. So I can't say that. All right. So any issues I would have there, that was just living, you know, personnel or what have you. That's just the normal scheme of things. But it was culturally getting parents to see that, you know, we need you to help parent your child. We can't do it all for you, and how to do that. And that was a cultural shift, and that was an issue. That was an issue. And I think it's better than it was. But if I had to say one thing that was always a challenge, when you had different types of learners and different types of parents who had different types of needs, and, you know, we had a viewpoint and they had a viewpoint, we worked it out. We worked it out. And so, nothing that a conversation and letting people know what your values are and why you feel the way you do and being clear couldn't resolve. Couldn't resolve. So.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. I'm glad I came on the meeting tonight because I wanted to hear from you, Mr. Parker. And I like your way of thinking, the old-fashioned way of thinking. Parents have to be parents, and parents need to take care of their children. And I'm pretty impressed by what I'm hearing from you right now, and I'm glad that you're going to be on our team. I look forward to seeing how you work in the district, and you know, not to say that we don't have challenges here, but it sounds like you might be the person for that job. So I'm glad I had a chance to listen to you tonight. Thank you very much for applying here, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Well, I'm thrilled to hear that. And well, I've said this in my previous interviews, but I am thrilled to be coming to Nashua. And I'll give you a little tidbit. My wife, I don't know who's more thrilled, my wife or me. She said from day one, Nashua. She said, Anthony, that's the place where you belong. And she can't really explain why, but from day one, she said, that's where you belong. And I went to visit, and I was impressed with what I saw. And, you know, with Dr. Mosley and the ward, I think we can do some awesome things. You know,
Thank you.
Part of a team, and, you know, and it's an interesting time, but this is the time where creativity is born. Okay, times like these, you know, to think differently, where we're kind of forced to, you know, we have to, right? So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I don't know what else to say. I'm excited.
Thank you. Mr. Carino, do you have anything to say or make a comment?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say welcome to our district.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm not a teacher, not a professional educator, but I can understand when you say we have to let the parents be parents. I remember some experiences. I did help out in Boy Scouts, and I can relate to that. You know, we need the help of the parents, and they have to parent their kids. But I did look over your resume. We did get your resume ahead of time, and I noticed that you were on the strategic plan committee.
Yes.
At one time, and I was wondering if you had a chance to maybe go online with our district website and take a look. I don't know if you've had a chance to see just the strategic plan and what your thoughts on that might be.
Not recently. To be honest, not recently. I didn't. But what I did see earlier in this process, I'll put it this way: you want what's best for kids, and you're willing to think differently if necessary. All right, and that's my bottom line. That's what I need to see. I believe we can do that. All right, the details are the details. The budget's the budget, and so. I just need to be in a place where I can work on a team and collaborate with people to not only work out your strategic plan, but also to add to it or say, you know what, should we think differently? Should it make sense to do that? And as I said, everybody's strategic plan is sort of muddled right now because of COVID.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So everybody's plan is in flux.
Right.
Is in flux, right? And I think, what are those elements that still work? And let's do that. Or what are the things we need to think differently about? Because I think we have to. I just do. I just do. I don't care what district you're in. And I think COVID has changed everything.
Sure.
And everybody's learning remotely. And so we have to, all of our district plans have to be a little different.
Yep.
Because we're not in buildings. Okay, we're not face to face with kids, and so it actually means something different because we have a lot of kids who are absolutely blossoming with remote learning that didn't blossom before, and we can't ignore that, right? And then there are some kids who struggle, and how best do we serve those kids who are struggling, right? And we don't have the opportunity to see them. And we have to sort that out. And so I think, I've said this before, this is a time for us, what do we keep? And are we willing to turn the rule book over? Because it's what's best for kids.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's what I got for you.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Raymond.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Timmons, and welcome, Mr. Parker. Thank you for coming out this evening to speak with us. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm a former social worker, and talking about parenting skills is like right up my alley, because I think there's a generational shift. I think that my generation has lost some of that village that previous generations had to help us to figure out how roles should be between parent and child and the school. So I'm glad to hear you say those things. My question is about the pandemic. So I'm just curious, is there anything that you had in Weston that worked really well or that you think would translate well to Nashua? Because we have a very diverse population in terms of socioeconomic status, access to the internet, access to devices for remote learning. And is there anything that you think could translate and come here?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Weston is figuring it out like everybody else, and we're in this situation, or they are in the situation where we're playing it by ear a little bit. All right. I do think what helped Weston was that we had a very well-established remote learning program already. Okay, and that was key. So we didn't lose a whole lot of time in trying to get up to speed to make sure people had devices, or we had to form a curriculum. Right. And so I would say that was the key. Before there was COVID, we had a very well-established remote learning program because certain kids had struggles and couldn't do school in the traditional sense. And so we didn't have to start from scratch.
Right.
And so when COVID hit, we had curriculum, we had training, kids had devices, and we literally could just say, okay, go to weston.org look up your teacher and your class, and there it is. All right. And we established office hours. And so having that foundation, that was the key, making sure everybody had a device and making sure we had a well-established curriculum.
Great.
Right.
Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing how you can take your experience with that and help us as we're building our scaffolding for remote learning, should that be something that we have to do in the coming months.
I think it probably will be. And again, Weston wasn't 100%.
No, nobody
Because
is.
we discover things as we go along, because no one's been in this situation before.
Yeah.
And so the scaffolding is happening in real time.
Yep.
Right. And so if I told you that we had it down to an exact science, well, that would be a lie.
Right. Well, I think everybody's trying their best, but I'm excited to hear that you have that experience of, knowing what trainings were helpful to your previous district, and, knowing what kind of scaffolding was helpful versus not helpful. I think that would be really
making sure kids had the technology and they knew how to use it. Okay. And if they needed help with that, they had access to getting help, and making sure that you had a curriculum developed. So PD time and training, so teachers could develop curriculum or think differently about curriculum specific to remote learning. That's the cornerstones.
All right. Well, welcome. I can't wait for our task force to pick your brain.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Any other questions? No, I hear none.
Ms. Timmons, I don't have a question, but I want to congratulate Mr. Parker and say welcome aboard.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Oden. Yes. So thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled. And I can't wait to start and work with you folks.
And I want to echo Ms. Oden's sentiment. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
And we like to put this motion forward. So I like to nominate Anthony Parker, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Education, for the 2021 school year at an annual salary of $120,000. May I get a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gilio. I'd like to get roll call. Ms. Oden?
Yes.
Ms. Gilio?
Yes.
And I also say yes. So congratulations, Mr. Parker. This will go in front of the full board this afternoon, and we'll see you later.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Mosley. Thank you. It was, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled and I'm excited. And you'll let me know when you want me to start. And just don't say tomorrow. Please don't say tomorrow.
Wow.
Hey, after tomorrow, sure. I'm all with
tonight.
Okay.
No
Take
we'll
care.
reach out to you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Take care, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right. Let me just get up. There you go. Okay. Who's meeting?
Okay. The second thing on the agenda is personnel recommendation. Any discussion? Ms. Gilio, Ms. Odoms?
No, I don't have any questions, or I hope some of these new teachers are able to start the year. I would hate to be a new teacher at this point and have to do remote learning, because I don't think colleges did a lot of that training for our new teachers. But no, I really don't have any questions.
Having said that, I'm a little concerned with Ms. Oden's statement. There is, are we going to have some kind of training for these new teachers, Dr. Mosley? She have a point there.
We typically have a new teacher orientation training that lasts about 2 to 3 days prior to them coming to the district. It's usually just, we give them some resources. We tell them where they can find resources, not only in the district, but within the buildings. We also talk about their mentor, so the mentor connects with them as well. And then the NTU actually has a discussion with them. So we're still going to do that. Some of this is going to unfortunately translate over into remote or some form of a hybrid too. So Garth and Carmen are still putting that together. But we typically have a new teacher orientation. I do agree with Ms. Odom is that it is going to feel differently because because of the situation we're in. But certainly that support is still going to be there for when I say new teachers, that includes veteran teachers as well who are new to the district. So new teachers to the district will still have that orientation.
Okay, thank you.
During the time too, it just comes to me like we usually do a big introduction. I come over. Actually, some of the board members have come over too. I remember Mr. Odom being there one time. Not one time, but I can't remember. Ms. Raymond, I think, was there. I'm not too sure who was all there. But we just kind of introduce everyone. The assistant superintendents are there. All the directors are there. It's just kind of meet and greet. We're still going to do that. It's just going to be hybrid. But I do think it's important that people understand who is who. It's a large district, so it's going to be even more challenging remotely. But typically, we do that at the beginning of the school year, of a typical year.
Okay, thank you. So, having said that, I'd like to move to approve the personnel recommendation, the revised copy dated July 15, 2020. Can I get a second?
A second.
Okay, second by Ms. Gilio. Ms. Odom,
Yes.
Ms. Gilio, and Ms. Timmons, that's me. I say yes. It's been approved 3-0. Any other discussions or concerns of the HR committee? No? If not, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gilio. Ms. Odom? Ms. Odom?
Yes. Yes.
Ms. Gilio? Ms. Gilio? Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, I have trouble with my mute button. Yes,
That's okay.
absolutely.
And I also vote yes. It's Ms. Timmons. It is now 5:28 and we just adjourned. Thank you and have a good day.